Hey there, my name is Emily and welcome to the Silver Studio. For my first video, we're going to do a drawing lesson. I'm going to show you how to do a basic observational drawing, how to recreate what you're looking at, how to take what you're looking at and put it on paper. And this is something that I have taught from 5-year-olds to 18-year-olds. To be fair, teach it the same way because anyone can do this. Anybody can draw what they're looking at. And it hurts my heart when I hear people say that they can't even draw stick figures. First of all, yes, you can. If you can write the letters O and I or L or V, you can make a stick figure. So stop that. Cut that out right now. We learn basic shapes in like kindergarten, first grade, right? You can draw basic shapes, and if you can write letters, you can draw anything. It's just a matter of practice. You're practicing how to observe, how to break things down, and how to put that on paper, which sounds tricky, but it's not. It's really not. I promise. Anyone can draw what you're looking at. Anyone can do it. What I'm about to show you works for if you're drawing a photograph, a flat image, or if you're drawing something that you're looking at in space. It doesn't matter which one. It applies to all. If I have ever been your art teacher, you have almost definitely heard me give this spiel. If you are a past camper, you've heard me give it 1,000 times. But say it with me if you know it. Whenever I am drawing anything, person, object, animal, food, place, anything, I will start as simple as possible. As simple as possible. Sometimes it's just a line, sometimes it's a basic shape. So for today, I am going to be using this image from a children's version of Alice's Adventure in Wonderland by Allison J. I believe are they the illustrator as well? Yes. So I love Alice in Wonderland, and I will often be using images from that story as a reference. And I'm going to have this image come up in just a minute, right now. So like I said, whenever I'm drawing anything, I start as simple as possible. First thing you want to do is make sure you're going to have enough room for everything you want to include in your picture and that it's going in the right spot. You don't want to put in wild details just to realize that it's the wrong size or it's in the wrong spot and have to move it. You don't want to have to undo something that you spent a lot of time on, something that looks great, because of a silly mistake that could have been avoided. Anything that we notice is wrong, we can fix without having to erase the things around it because we're going one little step at a time. So I'm going to first change the shape of my paper because the image is a landscape. My paper is in portrait. So ignoring this, with this image right here, there are 3 main objects, 3 main things going on, and it's a landscape, so I'm going to include that. First thing I'm going to include is that horizon line, the line that separates the ground from the sky. Maybe a little more than a quarter of the way down. I'm not worried about my lines being perfect because I'm just getting down the base drawing. We're just kind of laying out what we need. This is the top of my paper here, bottom of my paper here. My horizon line is going to go about here. It's a little better. Now we are going to include those 3 main objects. Alice, the cow, tortoise, eagle, dodo. Not sure. I love this illustrator's version of these characters though. This guy on the right over here, he's pretty close to the edge of the paper. He's like almost from the top to the bottom. So I am going to just kind of create this oval shape to say that's where that guy's going. That's the space he's going to be taking up. And right about here, we've got Alice. It's going to be kind of filling in this space here. And then oop, I'm noticing that this is the tail that goes down here. I don't want to get confused. And then this tortoise, his feet are a little lower. His body is about here. And maybe I run out of room on my side here. So now I can decide, do I want to shrink everything down because I'm noticing I made it a little too big. I don't have enough room. Or I can just decide to kind of cut off that edge. For the sake of today, I am going to fix it. So hold tight. So it only took me about 10 seconds to erase all that stuff because I didn't put in a lot of detail. I drew lightly, an easy fix. So while I'm looking at it, I think that the paper size I gave myself is a little too tall. I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. This is something you might have to do if you are drawing from an image because you might not always have the exact shape paper that you need for the image that you're looking at. Boom, boom, boom. again, we're going to start with this bird creature on the side, up over here, because that's kind of the area that he's taking up, and that's about the size that he's taking up. And then again, Alice is just kind of like triangle shape, her feet line with the feet right there. Remember, that's the tail. So all I'm doing is making a bunch of kind of messy lines and shapes. I am not doing any detail. None of these lines are going to probably be in this picture at the end. They're just helping me figure out where the things are going. All right, so we've got Alice here. That feels like a more correct amount of space. So turtle's about here. All right. There's that little island. There's a rock, a crab, rock, a rock, a rock over here. I could even include this line for where the waves are. So I notice it starts up higher. It's gonna come down. That line may change as I get these guys a little bit more detailed. So we have our three main things. We've got our horizon line. We've got the line where the ocean meets the shore. Now we are going to make these pictures a little bit more realistic to what we are looking at in our image. I am going to start with Alice. I'm noticing that her head is kind of a circle, pretty realistic to how a head shape is, and it's above the horizon line. Her shoulders are right there, so I'm going to make that kind of triangle shape for her shoulders and her head. And I could put in that little rectangle for her hair. Again, we're just making slightly more specific shapes. We are not including details. We're still drawing lightly. All right. Let's see if I can zoom here. So now we've got the shoulders. Her body comes in a little bit. Seeing how much space is between her waist and that line. I'm looking at it in the picture. I'm using everything around the spot that I'm drawing as a reference. I'm seeing how much space is between the body and the turtle, how much space is between the body and the bird creature over here, how much space is between her head and the ocean. Use everything as a reference, all right? I am not just looking at Alice as a whole. I'm looking at that specific part of her and what's around it, all right? It may sound tricky, but you can do it. I know you can. So her body again comes in a little, it's a little too tight. Then she's got this round shape that comes down. This is a pretty simple shape already, so I can kind of get that a little bit more accurate to what it is right away. But, I'll go back to her head in a bit. Her arms are very skinny. Her hand comes down to about, I'm going to notice how far down on her skirt does the hand come, right? So I'd say about here. So not getting perfect yet, just those finer details. Her legs are about here, maybe a little closer together. All right, now I can check how much room is there between her leg and the end of the skirt. I can look at our image, and I think I'm pretty close. So if you're noticing that maybe your skirt is too far in, if you are following along with this drawing, or that it's too far out, now is the time when you can fix it without having to erase beautiful details. We don't have anything around it to fix yet, so we're good. Now I'm going to move on to this guy over here before I go in any farther. Maybe I notice that I do have to move her over a little. And yeah, I got the shape right, but still not a big deal. I still am not erasing details. I still have to fix these lines anyway. So over here now, this is a weird shape, right? The legs start about here, like this part right here. It's kind of in line. So I'm going to make a little line. And this is where he gets round and pretty close, right? I'm looking at how much room is between his body and the skirt. So comes up about here, and about where the horizon line is, it starts to curve out again. That's a good thing to notice, right? The arm does kind of cover that, kind of like triangle-ish shape. Boom, boom, boom. I'll come back to that later. This is a pretty round shape here, and the curve of the back, right? It's pretty smooth. There is no like in and out like we've got going on here. Down. Looking at how much room, I got to come out a little farther because it gets a little closer to the edge than I had it. Okay, and there's one leg that's going back, one leg here. So I notice in the image, the feet of Alice and this character are kind of at the same spot, but in mine, not quite as much. I think I need to make Alice's legs a little bit longer. Maybe make this guy a little bit shorter as well. You can do both. I have this ocean line coming down too far because I noticed that his feet, there's still some body left under there, right? It doesn't come down to his feet. And I can bring this up a little. I was right. This guy's got to come up because there's more room between his feet and the bottom of the paper. Okay, so you're going to come up to about here. So many lines. And there we go. Easy fix. No broken hearts. Fail. There we go. I am going to add the wings. It may seem like an extra detail, but it is a big part of who this character is. So first, let me get this head shape, beak. And then this arm is going to end about here. This may seem like we're making a lot of lines just to erase them later, but once we are finalizing these shapes, it's going to make it so much easier to just create those smooth lines because we'll know exactly where we're going. We won't have to second guess ourselves. We can do it in one smooth motion and it's going to be beautiful. You've got this. So we got, there's the other arm here. I notice it's definitely higher, right? The shoulder is higher than that one. So I'm going to come up here, put this little triangle, hand, boom, 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 fix that later. And the wings coming right from there leads to this wing. And I'm going to check, does it work out well with where this arm is? And it does. It's nice when you have those moments where it does fit together and you know that you're doing it right. I'll also say that it has taken me quite a while to hone down this observation skill, to really be able to break things down. I kind of took what a lesson my dad taught me when I was writing like descriptive essays in school. He used to say, imagine that you are writing it for someone not from this planet, from a creature that has no idea what you're talking about, and you have to explain every detail. So when I'm drawing this, when I'm looking at this, I'm pretending that I've never seen it before, that this is, these creatures are brand. It's easy with this, right? But if you're drawing people or an apple or a tree, you know what those things look like. So a lot of the time your brain is tricking you into drawing what you're thinking that this apple or tree or person looks like, instead of actually drawing the apple or tree or person that you're looking at. So when you're doing an observational drawing, it is really important that you try to let go of what your brain is giving you, the stock image of what you're observing, and that you are looking at what you're observing. Look at what you see. Draw what you see. Don't draw what you don't see. That's something that that first teacher that gave me my first painting job taught me. Draw what you see. Don't draw what you don't see. If you're drawing a person whose head is to the side, don't draw two eyes. You don't see that. All right, so back to this. So now I've got the main parts. Just finish this wing. All right. Now I can move over to our final creature over here, this tortoisey cow-looking guy. And that shape is a pretty common, simple-looking type of shape, right? It's almost like a lemon or an egg or a half of an avocado. Okay, so it comes up over that ocean line a little bit. I'll come back for the head. Curving. Then about where the ocean meets the shore is kind of where it starts to turn back in, so that's a helpful tip. The bottom of the shell, I feel like, is just a little lower than the bottom of the skirt. Back up over here. And now I'm noticing I'm getting a little tripped up with this line, right? My brain is looking at the shape of the lighter color, but I'm following the line on the outside. So my brain is saying that that line I'm making is too wide because it's looking at that lighter color shape. It's not looking at the shell. I have to make sure that I'm looking at that wider kind of shape there. All right. So now it's going to come up. This side is not curved out as much. We don't see as much of the shell. Come up to the ocean. And again, that arm is kind of right where the sky and the ocean meet. So I'm going to look at how much of the arm is underneath, right over here. Over here. right, the top of the arm. Oh, look at that. Just have to make it a little bit higher, but not bad. It lines up with the top of her head. The top of the other hand also is about the same height. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make a little light line, help myself. This arm also starts underneath the horizon line, comes up, so loops around, and that edge right there can help me get in the line for the shell because it is right there. Boom. I didn't have to figure it out because that arm told me exactly where it goes. Again, using the objects around what I'm drawing to help me figure it out. Drawing what I see and not what I think, especially when you're drawing creatures that don't really exist. Okay? Now this head, cow type head shape is about here, right? It's a little closer to, like you see less of this side of the shell than you do of this side. So get that little part of the shell, then the head comes up here, a little wider. Kind of just got this round shape. There's a nose, horn. And now I'm going to come down for the legs. Okay, so this one foot kind of ends at the same spot, right? It's kind of as low as Alice's feet. This one like that, this cow turtle's dancing this way. And then the other one does come lower. Okay. Now we have all those big shapes. We've got everything up until those finer details. Now we're at the part where it's going to start to come together. It's going to neaten it up a little. We can get rid of some of these lines. So the first thing that you should do, especially if you're someone like me, is erase any of the lines that are not even going to help you, right? The lines that you put there by mistake. Sorry, there is a pigeon outside my window. Hello. I do feed the birds for the entertainment of my kitten Punky, who I'm sure will make a cameo at some episode. So, back to this. Now we are going to start to clean up these edges. We are going to erase the lines that we don't need. Like I said, we're going to time out and erase what we don't need. Be right back. Now that we've erased a lot of the lines we don't need, not all of them, you can tell it's still a little sketchy, but I've erased lines that I know are not going to be helpful guidelines, places where things were overlapped and you could see through them. These animal creatures are not translucent, so I wanted to make sure that we got rid of any of those parts, right? We can't see the horizon line through them, can't see the body through the wings, so all of those little corrections we just made. I also erased any of those extra sketchy lines that I knew were not going to be a part of my final, that were not going to be helpful guidelines, and you may still see a bunch there. But now that we're refining, we'll get rid of them as we go along. Now you're going to be going over any of those guidelines that are in the right spot, that are nice and neat. If there's areas like over here where there's a lot of lines and it's easier just to kind of erase it in a small chunk to get that nice clean line, go right ahead. That is why for like the kind of final step of refining a drawing, I like to have a pencil eraser. It's just, with the ADD, the less transition between tasks, it's better. I'm still using my reference image to make sure that everything I'm doing is correct. And now I can really finalize those shapes. Like around here, there is a corner, get that kind of looking neck there, erasing the lines I don't need, cleaning it up, making sure that I'm not losing the shape or making things bigger or smaller than they're supposed to be. And I can come back to finalize those like final touch details at the end. This pigeon is staring at me. Do you want to learn how to draw? So if you're still with us, thanks for sticking through that. So at this point, the observational drawing portion of this activity, of this project, is done. So this is going to be the end of this first video. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that this was able to help you in some way. I truly, truly believe that anybody can learn how to draw. If you have an understanding of how to draw circles, triangles, squares, and any letters. I know I didn't mention specific letters while doing this too much, but if you can draw the letter O, a V, an M, a W, like S, if you can make letters, if you can make shapes, you can draw. All that you really do have to work on is how you are picking apart what you're looking at. That is the most challenging part of observational drawing, not the drawing. The most challenging part is breaking down what you are seeing and focusing on that one part at a time and not looking at the whole picture all at once. It's challenging. It took me a while, but I can do it. I know you can do it. So thanks for staying tuned for the first virtual lesson of the Silver Studio. This will only be my third video. And please, if you have children, no children, ages 7 to 17, check out my online virtual classes that are going to be starting January 2026. Hopefully, if I have enough enrollment. Otherwise, I'll start them when I can. I am excited to be starting the process of creating my own art teaching, creating community. So thank you so much and come back soon.